Vamos a tener esta reunión.
Okay, we're going to be holding this three-day seminar on the natural recognition of fertility or natural fertility awareness, which is going to be something very special. And we're going to be looking at this from the point of view of pedagogy and anthropology and health. And we're going to be talking about sexuality and fertility based on the individual. But above all, I would like to welcome you. As you can see, we have lots of people from many parts of the world. And before anything else, I would like to share this reality with you. And above all, thanks to the other two directors who have assisted me and with whom we have prepared this conference, Mr. José Granados, who's the co-founder of the Merida Samoris project, and José Mari Arazartua, who's the director of the Department of Gynecology of the University of the Andes in Santiago de Chile. And we've prepared this meeting very carefully, and I hope that you will find that it's very attractive. Okay, I've just been told that we have something like 2,800 registrations from more than 62 countries. And right now we have direct interpretation from our interpreters. It's online, Spanish into English and English into Spanish. And we would like to thank you very much indeed for listening to what we're saying. And many thanks for attending this conference. We have people from Germany, Belgium, from the Nordic countries, and obviously from Italy and the United Kingdom. We have lots of people listening in Europe. But we also have lots of people in Latin America. And we can even say that we have people from practically all of the countries of the Americas, from Canada all the way down to the south of Chile. And we would like to welcome all of our brothers in America and Africa and Ivory Coast, Kenya, Nigeria, Congo, South Africa, Uganda, and also Zimbabwe. Thank you and welcome. And finally, we also have people from Asia and Oceania. And, we would like to welcome you too, give you our warmest welcome, and we hope that you're receiving our signal loud and clear. But what is the context of this meeting? Well, deep down, we are all aware, those of us that are here today, those that are present from the different parts of the world, we know that our society, in a way, has separated sexuality from its deepest meaning. So what do we want to do at this meeting? We want to discuss the presence of what we call sexuality based on the individual. So what we want to do here, we want to explain the Christian approach to sexuality, and possibly based on the theology of the body, which is that nuclear bomb that is still hidden, and I think that has to be made known to everybody. And at the same time, and this is the title of the conference, we want to promote the natural awareness of of fertility, which is adapted like a glove to a hand with regard to this issue of sexual life with your partner, with your spouse. So what are the objectives of this meeting? Firstly, we want to show that the University of Navarre has a very big interest in sharing knowledge as regards natural fertility awareness. And secondly, we want to create a network of experts, but not only that, but we also want to attract people that are interested in studying in greater depth these issues that are so attractive. And finally, because if not, this would only be something like a fireworks display, we want to design at the University of Navarre, and perhaps with the help of the University of the Andes, we want to receive help from the Merida Samoris project. So we want to develop a postdoc course with different levels of expertise, with different levels of knowledge and training, so that it can be like a fine drizzle that falls on the shoulders of these students, but also on the shoulders of people outside the university, so that we can deliver expert course for fertility monitors. What are we going to do these 3 days? Well, we're going to be looking to all of these aspects that have to do with sexuality based on the individual, and we're going to ask why. Well, today we are studying the why, which is anthropology. because this self-gift issue and the language of sexuality. And in other words, verbalizing this is fundamental. And tomorrow we're going to be talking about how we can communicate the pedagogy of this affective dimension. Is it possible to love in this manner? How do we need help? What kind of support do we need? And then finally, on Friday, we're going to be talking about how can this be carried out and what sort of influence is there on health? Is this an imposition or does this have a positive element for health? So we have an impressive panel of speakers, and I think that it's very difficult to find right now a group of people that are very passionate about this issue, and they're going to be discussing these issues with a great deal of enthusiasm. And I would like to thank all of you people from here. But apart from that, we also have our workshops, and we also have our moderators that are going to be working as volunteers to share this experience, and I would like to thank all of you. Not only that, but every afternoon, starting off today, we'll have the key lectures. And the key lectures are going to be broadcast via streaming, that is, if the system works, via Instagram. And we're going to have three main key lecturers. The first is going to be Christopher West from the United States, and who's the chairperson of the Institute of the Theology of the Body. And, well, I think that this it's going to be very interesting, and it's worthwhile being here just for this lecture. And we're going to see how he can summarize this concept in 40 minutes. And then tomorrow we have a former pupil of the university, Monsignor Mario Iceta, who's a doctor in medicine, doctor in psychology, who was here in these classrooms, and he's going to be talking about a beautiful issue that is love that becomes fertile. From Paul VI until the experts in this field. And then finally, on the final day, it's going to be Maria Calvo, who's a professor of law, who's going to be talking about a very relevant issue nowadays. She's going to be talking about femininity. That is femininity and happiness, and that's absolutely impressive. I hope you don't miss them. And then tomorrow we have the workshops, because in the afternoon we have the more academic side of things, and in the morning we have the dissemination actions. We have two spectacular workshops on Thursday and Friday, and starting off with the most important issue, and that is that we're going to have three professors dealing with natural fertility, and they are going to tell us how we can define the fertility window, how we can define everything. We'll have coaching for these couples that are now in this process, and then we'll have another tribute to Mr. Gonzalo Arranz. And then on Friday, we'll have a very special workshop, Love and Falling in Love. And then there'll be three aspects that have to do with research actions in terms of natural fertility awareness, and with some projects that we are launching at the university, which we will be looking into little by little. And tomorrow morning, last thing tomorrow morning, we will be very lucky because we will pay tribute to Mr. Gonzalo Arranz, a person who worked in the field of bioethics, and we're going to be analyzing his most recent book, Leyendo entre líneas, or Reading Between the Lines. And this is the platform that everybody's watching online. It's a new platform from Dr. Forum, where you can chat with other people and where you can come and go, and you can put questions to the organizers, and we can also get into the system, you can get out of the system, and I think that this is what all of our colleagues are watching, which I hope will be connected throughout the world, and we can also look things up related to sponsors and the people that have helped us. And people now are in the platform and they're watching something similar to this. Okay, well, this has cost us some money, and it's free of charge here. And there are people that are not going to be able to connect directly, unfortunately. Well, obviously, we need to cover these expenses, and we would like you to please upgrade to premium if necessary. And I'd like to remind you that this is a very lively conference that's going to last a year. It's going to cover an entire year. And for a year, we are going to be able to, on the website, we'll be able to download the premium account. In other words, the premium registration. Well, you people can download all of this material. We were talking about this over lunch. We might even release a publication, but it will be possible to disseminate this, and it's definitely worthwhile. But I would like to thank, and I will do so at the end of the meeting, would like to thank Dr. Forum. Dr. Forum works with some centers at the University of Navarra and with the University Clinic, because when they discovered the project and they knew that it was free of charge, they gave us their fees so that it were less expensive. And later on, we'll give them a round of applause, but I would like to thank them wholeheartedly, because this is a wonderful effort, especially for Laura and Paula and Claudia, who are outside, and they've done us a very big favor. And many thanks to our sponsors. Well, this is a virtual exhibit hall, so well, please look it up, because it does contain interesting things that I think are relevant for you. And finally, Bithum, you know that we're big fans of Bithum, and we've only covered half the budget, so you can give us a helping hand, and we'll be very grateful to you. And many thanks to the co-directors, and I'm going to give them the floor so that they can now, well, before we kick off, we'll be leading the sessions. So they can now talk about their own perspective or their own take on this conference.
Muy brevemente, quería.
Well, very briefly, on behalf of the Merida Samoris project, I would like to thank you. I was invited by Dr. Chivas. He was very enthusiastic and very happy about holding this conference. And what we have done from Merida Samoris, well, it's a project that was born to explore the truth of love. And when Dr. Chiva told me about this idea, in other words, the possibility of analyzing the issue of fertility in relation to medicine, in other words, searching for the truth of love and the effort that medicine is making to heal people, I think both things go together. From our point of view, if your love is true, it's an integral love. So therefore, it's concerned about the body. So it was necessary to include the medical action here. And from the point of view of medicine, this was also the case, because Plato says that the doctor that cures the body. But to heal the body, you have to look at the totality. That's what Plato said. It doesn't suffice to only focus on an isolated body, but rather you have to look at the plenitude of human life. You cannot give happiness to man, but the mission of healing the body has to be very broad. And you obviously cannot only focus on an organ and forget about the rest of the body. We know that because it's obvious. But what you can't do is look at individuals in an isolated manner, especially when you're dealing with sexuality, because that's when there's always a relationship with somebody else. So being able to heal the body and associating sexuality with fertility, you have to go beyond the relationship between men and women, and you have to analyze the fertility that they can give. So that's why the aim of this conference is to focus on the totality, that is, the medical action within the truth of human love. Thank you very much, and we'll be talking about this later on in much greater depth over the next 3 days.
Bueno, buenas tardes, muy bienvenido.
Good afternoon, and welcome. I would like to thank the University of Los Andes for their hospitality and for supporting the symposium. And many thanks to the University of Navarre for the enthusiasm of Dr. Chiva. And I thought, well, that the pandemic does produce some very positive things, because, well, without the pandemic, we possibly wouldn't have had this extensive dissemination that we've achieved, that Dr. Chiva just pointed out, with 2,800 people registered from 62 countries, which is pretty unusual. And the pandemic made us feel somewhat afraid of organizing events like this. But in any case, we have more dissemination. But another interesting thing of the pandemic, and is that one is somewhat tired of these telematic things, of remote connections and lots of Zoom. And, well, I think that we also now are looking forward to hugging or embracing other people or touch other people. So that means that we're recovering the personal value of the body. And this is what this conference is all about, because we As Jose pointed out, we want to recover the integrality of what is related to the body, not as an instrument that could be used in any way, but rather as a language, as a gift, or as a surrender, or as an essential part of what the human being is. So I would like to invite you to stay here for the 3 days. We're going to be delivering some very relevant messages, and we have to focus on the personal value of the body so that in this relationship with your neighbor, you can achieve happiness. So welcome, and I hope that you will enjoy the conference as we enjoyed it in the preparation stages.